Hello and welcome to the United Views traditional Wednesday night preview show. I'm Tom Doyle. I'll be your host tonight for the West Ham game on West Brom game even. That's a brilliant start from us guys. The West Brom game at 5:30 on Saturday, and we've got 4 guests for us tonight. Unfortunately, we've only got 3 so far, so we're hoping on the other one, but you know we're not sure at this rate. Aidan, you're first up. Welcome to the show, Aidan.
Hello, sorry about that. Yeah, I forgot to unmute, but anyway, yeah, pleasure being on, and yeah, sorry for the technical delays.
It's all a bit of a disaster tonight, guys, but obviously, Joey, welcome.
What would it be without technical difficulties and Aidan's cat in the background?
Oh yeah, you said.
Start as we mean to go on, eh? I mean, and we've got a new panellist tonight. Welcome, Raman.
Thank you for having me, guys. Looking forward to the first ever hangout with yourselves.
Cheers, it's great to have another follower as usual. I mean, let's get into it, guys. I mean, after that wonderful start talking about West Ham, I mean, probably all wish we'd have West Ham this weekend, but it's West Brom up, and of course, you know, after Monday night's, after Liverpool's loss at Hull on Monday night, United have a fantastic chance of getting top 4. I mean, it's all set up now. We've got a strong running apart from the Arsenal game. I mean, Aidan, going into this game against West Brom, do you think our top 4 hopes are all but assured now?
98%, yeah. Like, if we don't get this, then there's something seriously wrong, and yeah, I'll lose faith in the team if we can't secure top 4 now. No, in all honesty, yeah, it's done and dusted. We need to focus on second or third now, because I don't want to get that horrible playoff game in the Champions League. Liverpool still have to play Chelsea and Stoke away, so they're not getting maximum points alone. And even if they do get maximum points, we only need 2 wins out of West Brom, Crystal Palace, Arsenal, and Hull. So yeah, I think we'll get 10 points from that. I really do. I think we might slip up against either Arsenal or Palace, but the rest of them will win in my opinion. So yeah, definitely I think top 4 is all but done now.
I mean, Joe, do you agree with that, or do you think after our 2 recent defeats, do you think there's still a lot to play for? I mean, Liverpool aren't looking particularly special, obviously, at the time, but I mean, you know, we're off the back of 2 defeats. We haven't scored for 2 games. Do you think we need to be careful of a team such as West Brom? I mean, they've given us problems in the past.
Well, you know, a lot of people have said, and even myself have said at times, that we struggle against teams that, you know, just come to Old Trafford and defend. You know, they line up against, you know, with 2 banks of 4, and they want us to break them down, and we play our possession game. We don't really have any penetration. So it will be difficult, yeah. I mean, you know, Tony Pulis knows how to grind out results. You know, they just grinded out a result last week against Liverpool at home. But, you know, with Liverpool slipping up on Monday or Tuesday or whatever day it was, I mean, there's a slim chance we won't get top 4, but it's so slim. You know, it's in our hands. It's our destiny. You know, West Brom will be a tough game, but we can win this game even with the injuries. And then you would, I think, you know, maybe 1 or 2, probably 2 wins will seal top 4 for us. And you would expect us to beat Hull. So, but like I said, I mean, I was aiming really a lot higher in the table. And after the last 2 losses and, you know, the loss of Rooney and Carrick and all these injuries, I just, you know, I'm happy with top 4. Before the injuries, I was hoping we get a little higher, 3rd, 2nd, but if we get 4th, I'll be happy.
Yeah, I mean, Raman, just touching on that, I mean, are you disappointed with the fact that, you know, United have lost the last 2 games when it looked like we were building, you know, a great run of form, we were going for a potential top 2 finish, and, you know, we seem to have run out of steam just in the last 2 games?
I think the stats and the facts don't lie. When Carrick's not playing, we tend to struggle. We can't get a stranglehold in the midfield. Am I disappointed? Yes, of course, absolutely. You know, I want to see United win every single game. It doesn't matter if it's a friendly or not. But you know, we played well against Chelsea, and I certainly think we deserved at least a point against Chelsea. The Everton game disappointed me even more so, really, because we were never at the races. Midfield looked very disjointed. So that actually disappointed me more than the Chelsea one, despite the fact we actually deserved something from the Chelsea game. So yeah, I mean, I think you know, had we even got 1 point out of 6 against Chelsea or Everton, we might have had a different slant on things. But yeah, certainly I was disappointed.
I mean, Aidan, it's an interesting point there Roman makes about the fact that, the Everton game was perhaps more of a disappointment because we played well against Chelsea without getting a point, without getting any points, without capitalising on the good play. But we went to Everton and didn't even turn up. I mean, Van Gaal said after the game that he had worries even in the pre-match warm-up. He said there just wasn't something right about this team. Do you think we're in danger of losing what momentum we had, or do you think we should be confident going into this West Brom game?
No, I really don't. To be honest, as much as it sounds stupid, I reckon that this Everton game was the kick in the arse we needed, and now Liverpool lost as well. It literally becomes ineffective, in my opinion, that we did lose, and it's beneficial for us because it shows us that we're not the complete article. Other players, like Ashley Young and Marouane Fellaini, who've been amazing, can dip in form, and we've still got other players to come into the team, so we don't have to rely on 11 players. Obviously, Michael Carrick is a big miss, but certainly I don't think the spirits will be down. It was also a chance for Louis van Gaal to issue the hairdryer treatment, because according to various media reports, he did that. Well, he gave the hairdryer treatment to Antonio Valencia and Daley Blind for poor displays during the game. So maybe, especially for players like Rooney, Carrick, etc., even Ashley Young, Antonio Valencia, players who've been at the club when Sir Alex Ferguson was there, they might see Louis van Gaal more as Sir Alex Ferguson now, because he's got the attributes, etc., and he's fierce because he's gave them leeway earlier in the league when they were trying to get a system, but maybe now he thinks that they ought to know the system, so now he will issue punishments, if you like, if the players aren't performing well. So that's something they need. They need someone with a huge ego, like Louis van Gaal does, to keep them in line when they do lose, like Ferguson did. I mean, Ferguson was the most outspoken manager I've seen, like even more so than Mourinho. So yeah, I definitely think, as stupid as it sounds, it's something we needed. And now Liverpool have lost. Doesn't matter, in my opinion. And yeah, we should easily beat West Brom, especially with RVP scoring 2 in the under-21s, etc., even with Rooney's injury, whatever, but we'll get onto that later on, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Joe, do you agree that this United team, they needed that hairdryer, they needed the kick up the arse, because I mean that performance just wasn't good enough, was it?
No, it wasn't. And I think they're coming out. What Van Gaal said was our best performance against Chelsea. We beat City at home. We had a great run, and it's kind of like they got complacent, like top 4 was already sealed. And I think had Liverpool not slipped up the last 2 games, they'd be right up our ass again. It was the same thing after December's run of that unbeaten games. We had a nice lead on Liverpool, and then they got complacent, and Liverpool caught up, and then we just distanced ourselves again. And it seems like history is repeating itself this season. So I think, the game against Everton, we were never in it. We dominated possession, but we never looked like scoring. They were miles better than us that day. Credit to Everton. They came out with a great game plan. James McCarthy was fantastic. Gareth Barry did his job on Fellaini. They pissed him off early. He got an early caution, and it was done. So yeah, I think it is a little bit of a wake-up call. But like I said it in the last video in the review of that. Once we bring in more players and there's more competition in places, you'll see a team that is afraid to lose their spots. We don't have a lot of depth right now, and quality and depth we definitely don't have. So I think once those players come in, and there will be more outgoings. This squad still needs to still needs to be overhauled. It wasn't ever going to happen in one window. The competition for places will make players fear it, and Louis van Gaal will embrace that competition. You see it now with Di Maria. He's our England's most expensive signing ever, and he's not starting. He's coming off the bench. He's going to have to work to get back in this team. I think he'll start, and that's something we'll talk about later. But Louis van Gaal won't take no shit, and that's we're just lucky we have him. And I'm glad he's our manager, and I'm glad that the football has come a long way this season. It's changed a few times. He's seen what he wants to do, and next season's just going to be awesome. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, we're all looking forward to the summer. I mean, no one really knows what's going to happen at the moment. There's so many players we're linked with, and so many players, that could be leaving. But I mean, Roman, just touching on what Joey said there and building on what Aidan said. I mean, as well, your comment about us without Carrick. The stats don't lie. I mean, this season we've been poor without Carrick. And Blind, you know, he reportedly got the hairdryer treatment from Van Gaal because of his poor performance. I mean, he's still coming back to form, but the midfield has been a worry when Carrick's not been in there. Do you think we're going to recruit this summer in midfield, and who would you like to see?
Absolutely, I think we certainly will recruit in the midfield. But I would also emphasise on the fact that this issue about Carrick not being able to be replaced, i.e. when he's injured or now that he's coming towards the end of his career, although we hate to say, but it's, you know, we have to face the music, he's in the latter stages of his career. I think it's worth pointing out that actually this has been festering from when Sir Alex Ferguson was in charge. We had a similar problem trying to replace certain other players, and we thought we were going to replicate them with the new Keane, the new Scholes, and now it's the new Carrick. Well, actually, it doesn't always have to be that way. Sometimes you need to sign a player who's absolutely his own person in his own right, in his own style. So sometimes it can be a bit of a danger. So I would like to emphasise that the issue about replacing Carrick, I think, has been, you know, on the minds of the previous managers, not only just Van Gaal. In terms of who I'd like to see, well, there's quite a few different names. I think, again, Pogba is someone we should never let go, but that was an issue that I think was very much instigated by his agent, the super agent that he is as well. And obviously, everybody knows about when, you know, the Blackburn game, the infamous time when he wasn't played and Raphael was as a substitute. So Pogba and Marco Verratti, I think, are two players in particular that I think could certainly do a job. I think there's others as well that could quite easily come in and do a very, very, very worthy job. Not necessarily to replace Carrick, but possibly alongside him in a different capacity. Somebody like Arda Turan, who's got the energy, he's got the desire, he's got the bite in his tackle. He's got some fantastic attributes which he's contributed towards Atletico in the last few seasons. So, you know, I wouldn't rule out players such as that, but I think with Van Gaal, I think he'll probably know who he wants. He likes technical players. So, you know, I'm pretty sure he's got something up his sleeve. I wouldn't be surprised if the room more. Whether there's any truth to it, you know, remains to be seen.
Yeah, I mean, those are some great pertinent points there from Roman. I mean, Aidan, just building on those, I mean, you know, we all have our favourites for who we want to see come in the summer, but it's obvious when we lack Carrick, we just don't have that presence in the middle at the moment, do we? I mean, the Everton game showed that. I mean, just going into the West Brom game, I mean, who would you like to see playing in midfield if Carrick was still out?
Personally, in Carrick's role, I would say Ander Herrera, and then I would say maybe, I don't know whether to play Fellaini in this type of game or, like, I want Di Maria to start, but I'm not sure whether to put him in for Ashley Young or Marouane Fellaini. For the purpose of this, I'm going to say that I'll take out Marouane Fellaini just for the fact that he played as a centre mid in a three, like at the left of a three in midfield at Real Madrid. So we'll put Di Maria there just ahead of Ander Herrera, and then have oh my god, my mind has went so blank.
Blind?
I don't even, yeah, Blind. Oh my god, I just had a mind blank there. Yeah, then Mata on the right, and then stick with Young on the left, and have OVP up front because Rooney's now injured for at least 2 games, and I hate to say it, but yeah, Falcao, we just need to forget about Falcao now. He's not going to sign, in my opinion, now that OVP is happy, apparently, to play second fiddle. We've got OVP, we don't need someone else who's on 250k a week. It's OVP or Falcao, basically. So I would say OVP, considering he scored 2 in the under-21s, etc. So yeah, he seems to be back on lethal form. But yeah, I would play Ander Herrera in that Carrick role because he's a hard tackler, he's a good passer, and he's got great vision. And against West Brom, I said this against Everton, in fairness, I said that their midfield isn't their strongest area, and then look what happened with James McCarthy. But again, I'm going to say West Brom's strongest area is probably not the midfield, so there shouldn't be too much to do. We shouldn't be worrying that we don't have a 34-year-old on the pitch against a team like West Brom. No offence to West Brom, but that the way United, all right, we shouldn't be worrying about that. So yeah, I think Ander Herrera would fill the role better, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I mean, Joey, I mean, RVP came back, you know, he found his way, you know, he's found the goals for the under-21 side. Do you think we should be starting him, given Rooney's injury, or should we be going with Falcao? Because even though Falcao's not hitting the goals, he's got that fitness or alleged fitness.
No, I'm going with RVP. I haven't seen. I mean,
Hello?
just haven't seen enough from Falcao, and I think with Falcao, it's really clear that his body is just failing him. You can see it. He can't move in a way that we're used to seeing. He's making runs, but he's just physically not able to possess the strength or the burst or anything. And once that has gone, you've seen it gone, your head dips, man, and the confidence isn't there. So I think with Falcao, he wants to, he wants to be confident, he wants to do these things, but his body's not letting him, and I think that's clear to see. So I'm going with Van Persie. He scored 2 in the under-21s, hit the post. Aidan told me that one. I didn't get to see it, so credit to him. And I'm, Van Persie knows this league. He's still got 10, 11 goals. And with my idea of what Van Gaal's going to do, I think he'll play Van Persie. So yeah, I'm still going with Persie. He knows how to get it done in this league, and his body isn't it's frail, but it's not as frail as Falcao's right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult situation, isn't it? Because we've had bad luck with injuries all season. It's just been a never-ending problem. And like Aidan there, he had a mind blank just before on who he should play. But I mean, Van Gaal's probably had the same problems all season. I mean, Raman, what do you think of our injury problems going to this game? How do you think Van Gaal's going to approach this with formation? Do you think he's going to play Van Persie? Do you think he's going to play Falcao? Will Di Maria come in? Who would you select?
Yeah, I think the guys alluded to the fact, obviously, with Van Persie scoring twice against Fulham in the under-21s. I think, Van Persie will start, in my opinion. I think Falcao has been given his chances, he's been given ample opportunities. Unfortunately, he hasn't taken them. I really wanted him to succeed. And unfortunately, yes, it is looking as though his days are numbered, and the loan won't transpire into a permanent signing. I think Joe is absolutely spot on. Sometimes you can see the will and desire to want to do something, but whether it's obviously his knee injury which has taken its toll, whether he's struggling with that, I think that's probably what's holding him back. Pity also, by the way, I think it's worth noting that James Wilson's injury at crucial times where I believe he could have come in to possibly stake a claim in the absence of Falcao and or Van Persie. So I do feel sorry for Wilson, and I think he would have had a bigger role to play had he been fully fit at certain stages of the season. So I think on Saturday, Van Persie will probably be up top, main striker, with Falcao having a place on the bench. A word also for the returning Darren Fletcher, I think. So I hope, and I'm pretty sure every single Red in the stadium, I will certainly be as well, will be giving a big cheer to Darren Fletcher, an absolute consummate professional, and a credit to the game. Very, very, very knowledgeable about the game as well. He knows the game inside out, and can't wait to give him a rousing reception.
I think we can all back that. I mean, he was a superb player for us. People said he didn't necessarily have the technical talent, but he scored plenty of goals against Arsenal, and I will back him on that. And as you say, he knows the game inside out. I hope one day he might come back to United as a potential midfield coach. But that's for another day. I mean, we've got a late addition to the show, and I'd like to welcome Raju.
Hi there, how are you all?
Well, we're all good, mate.
Very well, thanks.
Good to hear.
We were just talking about the potential return of Darren Fletcher. How do you feel about Darren Fletcher, Raju?
Me personally, I think over the years he's especially been a big game player for us against the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal. He's always been there at the right moment. But I think towards the end we all knew that he wasn't up to our best team quality. But I think hopefully he's probably going to get a really good reception on Saturday night when he comes back to Old Trafford.
Yeah, I mean, we can all back that. I think we'd agree there. I mean, Aidan, just talking about West Brom there. I mean, with Darren Fletcher, where do you see the threat of West Brom coming? Where do we have to be careful? I mean, given the injury problems, obviously we've got our own concerns. But where do you think they've got? Have they got pace? Have they got power to hurt us? Where do you see the problems?
Yeah, they've definitely got pace and power with the front two, Brown Adaye and also Cedro Berahino. I mean, they've been inconsistent this season, but I think when we played them earlier in the season, they drew 2-2 with us, and they scored a great counter-attack goal with Sessegnon, I think, and I think Berahino got the other one. So, yeah, I'm not sure if Sessegnon's fit or what's happened with him, but yeah, Darren Fletcher, obviously, this is going to be a huge game for him, and he'll have all the respect of the Man United fans and the players, etc. But obviously, we play to win. He'll understand that. He'll do the same thing. And yeah, I reckon we will win. But as I say, we definitely need to shape up defensively. I think Chris Smalling was the only one awake in the entire team, to be fair. But definitely in the defence last game, Luke Shaw was decent going forward, but defensively he wasn't as good as what he was against Chelsea. So yeah, this defence definitely needs to step up. Hopefully Rojo or Jones are back so we can replace McNair, because he's 20 now. Actually, he's not 19. He celebrated his birthday this week, but he's getting match experience, which is brilliant. But obviously he's not the first name there. So Rojo or Jones would be good, because Smalling seemed to do well while he was partnered with either of those, and Valencia definitely needs to step up his game, because he was doing well in this run of winning games, but he was poor last game, and obviously he got the hairdryer treatment, so Louis van Gaal would have told him that. So hopefully he comes back and is doing pretty good, so we can stop the threat of West Brom, and we should be comfortably winning this, let's be honest, we really should.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games, isn't it? I mean, we've been inconsistent for the past, 2 years or so, but over the last few months, we've built a solid, base and a consistency. The last two games aside, and you feel that we should be going into these games and, taking the game to teams like West Brom again. I mean, Joey, just quickly going back to Darren Fletcher, I know you're a passionate United fan. Can you just try and put into words what this return will mean to him and to our fans, to the club?
You said Darren Fletcher, right? You broke up, I'm sorry. I'm glad you asked me that, because Darren Fletcher, probably for me, means a lot more than most United fans, and what I mean by that is I have a bowel disease very similar to Darren Fletcher. I found out right around the time, his came out. So to see what he's gone through, and, I've gone through some of the same things with the surgeries and the treatments and things like that. Darren Fletcher to me is one of my heroes. He's shown that, with this bowel disease, because it is a serious disease, and it sucks to live with this disease, man. I can't even explain like all the things that behind the scenes, but I understand Darren Fletcher, and to know what he's gone through, and to come back from that, even if he wasn't at the highest level, he still came back from that, and he still played a bit part. So I mean, Darren Fletcher served this club. He knows what it is to be a United player. He played for the shirt. It's great to see him, get some game time, and I do hope he comes back in a ambassador role or even a coaching role, because, like I said, he's one of my heroes.
That's superb. Thanks for opening up on that. I mean, Darren Fletcher's done a lot of charity work, and I think he's one of the few players in the game where people genuinely just don't have a bad word to say against him. He's one of those people. I mean, and as you say, hopefully he comes back to the club in some capacity, because, we always talk about legends of the game, legends of the club in terms of talent, but a lot of players have the talent but not the temperament. But I think you can genuinely say that Darren Fletcher was a legend of United, just in the way he approached the game. Like Gary Neville, they both didn't have the world-class talent, but they had the world-class temperament to, build a career, build, title-winning mentality at United. I mean, Raman, just switching back quickly to, the West Brom game, where do you see? The same question as I said to Aidan, really. Where do you see them causing problems? And also, where do you think that we can hurt them with the players we've got? We've got injuries, but where do you think we can hurt them?
Well, certainly, yeah, the strike force are powerful. It remains to be two up top, or whether it's just the one. I've got a feeling they might just play one up front, being away from home. But certainly they have got the pace and power to hurt us. However, I think we can overrun them in midfield depending on who they've got and who we've got in midfield as well. Now, again, with all due respect, I mentioned Darren Fletcher once again, but this time more for a tactical reason. With all the injury problems he's had in the past and other problems, he's he's clearly not got any pace at all to necessarily hurt us. However, he has got the professionalism to and the desire to rally his midfield troops as well. But if we can get in at them early, we can press quite high. There's no reason why we can't open up the defence as well. But I think also being at home will help some of our players. Away from home, we've got some players who tend to struggle generally. Take away one or two performances this season, i.e. Juan Mata, who was fantastic, and as was Fellaini and Young. Two performances away from home have given me much confidence about certain players. And I'll throw Fellaini in the mix for that one as well, because I think Fellaini's time to have a little rest has come now. I think he served us absolutely fantastic, up until the last couple of weeks. And I just hope, I'm hoping that he changes it slightly, because as I say, I think the course of Fellaini being effective against most teams has probably run its course now. And being at home, there's no reason why we can't express ourselves much more with a much more open, free-flowing, attacking style. Because what I tend to find with Fellaini is to slow our play occasionally, because predominantly he's been doing a lot of the hold-up work. So there's no reason why I think we can't use more pace and penetration. I'd like to say Di Maria would hurt them, but Di Maria has been so inconsistent that I actually haven't got much faith in him. So I think Ashley Young could be a key figure. Especially being an ex-Aston Villa player, by the way.
Yeah, definitely with the Birmingham connections. I mean, that was interesting that you say that Di Maria has been inconsistent, because I remember when he came on in the Liverpool game and he set up Mata, but then within 10 minutes his passing was so atrocious that I was sitting there thinking it might actually be time to sub him after about 10 or 15 minutes on the pitch. He's just been so inconsistent with his passing. It's just not, it's not worked. It's his style of passing, he operates almost like more on chaos, just looking for runs, looking for darting, fast strikers that he had at Real, but he doesn't have that at United. I mean, Raju, what do you think about this? What do you think about potentially using Di Maria instead of Fellaini, or potentially, using pace instead of the likes of Fellaini? We'll have Raju in 1 second, I think. Not at the moment. I'll switch that question over to Aidan quickly. I mean, do you think we should approach the West Brom game with more pace? Do you think we should look to attack them directly? Because our passing game, it's become stifled in the last few games, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have to go guns blazing, all right? It's at Old Trafford. We've got an exceptional record this season. It's a fortress again, so we need to go at them from the off. And to be honest, we really need to go for the kill, especially after that Everton game. 2 defeats, all right? This is not good enough. Might be Chelsea, it might be Everton at Goodison Park, but it's just not good enough. So we need to make a statement, all right? And we definitely need to come out all guns blazing. So I think, pace on the counter is definitely a tactic that I would use, hence why I would drop Fellaini for this game. I don't think we need him. He's more of a he's a defensive calm, if that makes any sense. Like, literally, he gives us another option, but also he's strong and can bully players, which is why he's imperative, to be honest, this season anyway, against some top sides, until he's been found out, that is, against Chelsea, obviously, the Uzuma. So yeah, I would definitely replace him with Di Maria, and then I'd keep Young. I'd keep Mata. I know I said pace, but still, Mata plays so well at Old Trafford, and yeah, I reckon he's going to get an assist this game. To be honest, I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to say I think Di Maria will get back to scoring ways and will score first. We'll do the predictions after, though, so I'll leave that. But yeah, definitely pace from the off, and we need to go all guns blazing.
Nice, that's bold. I mean, Raju, would you agree with that? Do you think we need to start Di Maria against West Brom? Does he deserve a chance now against the side that's likely to sit back and try and, defend, and they're going to be good in the air at the back? Do you think we should look to attack them on the ground instead?
Me personally, I've just seen a stat on who scored. Apparently, with West Brom, it takes them 11 shots between goals. So clearly, that shows that when they do score, they're really accurate with their shots. So I think how we're at home, and we should play Di Maria, because we're going to play on the ground, so it would work better. But I think we'll have to be really careful with West Brom, just purely because they have the pace on the counter, and as they've got one of the best shots to goal record in the Premier League right now. So I think he should play Di Maria. But me personally, I would really like to see him Han Mata play behind the striker. But that's just me. I don't know. Does anyone else agree with that? Playing Mata more centrally and put Di Maria more out wide.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting point. I mean, Joey, I mean Mata's been playing out wide on the right to accommodate Rooney playing up front, Young on the left to accommodate this midfield trio. But considering the injuries, do you think it's maybe time for Mata to maybe play behind the striker in the position that he's always wanted to play, the position that he did well for at Chelsea, or do you think Van Gaal's going to stick with this 4-3-3 and keep Mata out wide?
I mean, I can't say what Louis van Gaal would do. I'm going to be controversial, and I'm going to say that I would rather have Di Maria start centrally, leave Mata out wide. Mata's shown he's been okay out wide, and he's linked up really well with Valencia and with Herrera. So, I've been banging on this Di Maria centrally drum for months now. I would drop Fellaini, and I would start Di Maria there, and I would keep Young in, keep the pace in. Keep Young and Di Maria and Mata. Mata doesn't possess pace, but I don't. Aidan wanted to put Herrera in Carrick's role. I'm putting Daley Blind there again if he's fit enough, because I think that eventually he could be Carrick's successor. So I think we need the pace to suck them out as well, because Di Maria he's no slouch on the ball. He's a decent passer of the ball as well. He's very creative, probably our most creative player. So I think what we need to do is we need to draw West Brom out and get a little bit of pace behind them, get them on their back foot. So I'm putting Di Maria centrally. I want him on the ball more. I just feel like when he's out wide, you know what's going to happen. He's either going to cut in and shoot it from 40 yards out, and it's going to go over the bar. It's going to be, a weak shot, or he's going to try and beat his man down the wing and whip a cross in. And with, I would, reverse that role. I would let Fellaini take Di Maria's role off the bench. If we need to bring him on to try something different, we can hit the long ball to Fellaini and have him knock it down for Van Persie or someone else. So, I want to move Di Maria centrally and leave Mata out wide. It'll be interesting, to see what Van Gaal actually does, because I think Di Maria is going to play. But I think, unfortunately for me, in my thought process, Louis van Gaal sees Di Maria as more of a winger than he does a central midfielder like he was at Real Madrid. I'm all about, letting players play in their position, but Mata has been playing very well out wide. And Di Maria last year had his best career year centrally, so...
Yeah, Raman, that's a great point that Joe makes, that, we bought Di Maria basically on the basis of that superb season for Real where he created so many goals running from a central position in a 4-3-3 on the left. And, he's struggled this season. His stats aren't actually that bad. I think he's got 10 or 11 assists, and that's one of the highest in the Premier League, but it's not necessarily, the performances haven't been good enough. Do you think that Di Maria deserves a start on Saturday, or do you think Fellaini's done enough to show that he should be the regular starter?
Has he done enough? The answer, in my opinion, is, in particular, as I say, Di Maria, no, he hasn't done enough. He's done nowhere near enough, actually. And same can be said, by the way, about the boy who could do anything. Somebody who I'm really disappointed with. Between the pair of them, I think they've been very, very, very poor in terms of trying to stake a regular berth in terms of starting in the starting 11. Neither of them have done good enough. Fellaini has, and Young as well, have shown them how desire and hunger to want to be in the first 11 has got them to cement their places. But when all's said and done, as I mentioned earlier, I think Fellaini's run his course of in the starting 11. I don't think Di Maria's done anywhere near enough to warrant a starting position. I can see why the guys are saying, Aidan and Joey are saying in particular, that they'd like to see him start, pace, penetrate. He'd be perfect in the centre instead of just out wide, because he can attract the defenders out. He can pull the midfielders trickery by his movement, but he hasn't done enough at all. And he's done it every single time for Real Madrid for the last couple of seasons. Great, fine, but he has actually been given chances periodically to drift in and out of the central positions out wide. He's been given very much of a free role compared to most other players when he has played. The other problem he's got is he's not very disciplined in his role at all. So if you're going to play at number 10, and that's the role that Joe is probably alluding to, if you're going to play off the striker in a central position, he hasn't got enough. I don't think he's got enough in his locker to be, quite disciplined about his role. So, me personally, no, I don't think either of them deserve to really start Januzaj or Di Maria. Fellaini deserves it, but I don't think he should either because I think we need to change it.
Tom?
Yeah, sure, jump in.
No, just really quickly, I get what the guy was saying by playing Di Maria centrally. He had his best season at Madrid, but I think partly the reason why I wouldn't play him in the middle is because if you especially look at the Spanish League and the Premier League is more physical in the middle of the park, so obviously it's more likely that you get knocked off the ball, whereas in the Spanish League it's more tactical battles, and obviously he's good at beating players one-on-one, so that's just part of the reason why for me personally I would have him out wide rather than infield, because out wide he can use his pace down the wing, rather than when he's right down the middle, he's going to have like a player like Patrick or Fernando or someone just playing in front of him and just cutting his run off completely.
But hang on, he's done it in the Champions League as well. It's not just La Liga. And you talk about the discipline, but in a free role, I mean, there's no defensive responsibility. He can do whatever the hell he wants, And I do agree that he has been given a free role, but I wasn't quite sure about what discipline you meant because, in that free role, what responsibility does he have other than being creative and getting on the ball and getting the other players involved?
No, he's got to, obviously, if you're going to play that role, you need to also link with your striker as well as your midfield, because that's the whole role of a number 10. Okay, I understand why you're probably thinking, well, if he's given a free role, why not? But no, everybody's got a job to do. For me, any number 10, whether it's Mata when he was at Chelsea, whether it's David Silva behind Aguero, all these players are very slight, by the way. They're not very powerful, they're not very physical. However, their footballing brains have always allowed them to link with their midfield and strikers in a much more disciplined manner. That's why I say, even though he might have been given a free role, whether it's at Real Madrid, whether it's here, everyone's got a duty to play as a team and not just as an individual. So to link with your forward or link with your midfield, you've got to be much more switched on. And unfortunately, I don't think he's actually made as much effort as he should actually in the Premier League. I agree, he's done it in the Champions League, proven, because in the Champions League final he was the man of the match, so he can certainly do it, but he hasn't done it. That's unfortunately what's been a bit of a bone of contention for me. I know he's world class, you know he's world class, everybody knows he's world class. Now, the only thing I would say as well in his defence, however, is that it's his first season. He's had a couple of personal issues as well, which certainly, have got my sympathy. But when I look at football and footballing abilities, etc., sometimes it doesn't matter which role you're in, you have to have a degree of discipline, full stop, even if you've got a free role. Hence the reason why, obviously, unless you're literally Messi or Ronaldo, which Di Maria isn't, you have to have the discipline. It's a team game, and he needs to obviously change and adapt to certain things in his game.
Yeah, I mean, Aidan, would you agree with that? Do you think Di Maria, obviously he's got talent, he's showing it on the biggest stage. I mean, he showed it at the World Cup as well until he got injured. But do you think that, he hasn't necessarily put in enough? Do you think it's a question of effort at United? Or is it that, other factors, extenuating factors have just had that too much of an impact on him?
I think he's trying too hard, to be honest. I mean, you see, I know what Rahman said about him basically be giving slight opportunities, but a lot of those opportunities recently have been off the bench, and he's been trying to prove himself by shooting from 30, 40 yards to try and score to prove that he can do it. And, that's not helping, all right? If he starts right from the beginning, then maybe he'll be more involved in the team plan. He won't be used as an impact to try and do something, because obviously he's been given the free roam. So he wants to prove that he can do it. And if he's given another chance, I mean, is there really much of a better game than West Brom at home to give Di Maria a final chance this season anyway? He's got the pre-season tour to get used to the team fully. But in terms of this season, he doesn't have a better chance to do it. And because of the dipping form in the last 2 games of Ashley Young and Marouane Fellaini, he's got the perfect opportunity to come into a side who's got a decent system. All right, it's lost back to back, but it's got a brilliant system, to be perfectly honest. And there's a few injuries, so it's a chance for him to show that he is world class and he can do it in the BPL. Because I fully believe he can. He just needs that belief himself. I think he doesn't believe it himself enough yet, because he's obviously had these issues. He was great at the start of the season, tail-led off. Now he's been benched, but apparently he said himself that he's prepared to stay at Manchester next season. Although he got interest from PSG, he's prepared to stay. Apparently he's extended the lease on his house, so it shows that he wants to be a United player. He even got number 7 tattooed on his arm, so it shows that it means a lot to him that we gave him the number 7. So he's just got he needs another chance to prove himself, and for me, he will. All right, that's why we paid 60 million. We wouldn't have paid 60 million if we generally didn't believe he could handle the BPL.
That's a good point. I mean, I'm just going to go down the list now quickly and get a couple of predictions for whether you think Di Maria is going to start. I just want a one-word answer then. Aidan, you?
Prediction for the game?
Prediction for Di Maria to start.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I'm going to say he's going to get the first goal in a 3-0 win, United.
Nice. All right, then, Joey, do you think Di Maria is going to start? And if so, do you think he's going to do anything?
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, he will. Whether he's out wide or he's centrally, Di Maria will do something in this game. And I'm really, I'm expecting, a big bounce back. I'm expecting United that, we've seen a few weeks ago. I want to see a deadly, not wasting anything, not fucking around, and I think we will. I think Van Gaal will get on these boys in training this week. He's not going to be happy. He was clearly not happy. Aidan was talking about hair dryers and things like that. You're going to see a response from this team because Champions League isn't wrapped up yet. While it looks like we're going to get it, yeah, it's not done yet. So I expect, huge responses. We're not losing 3 in a row. I'll just say that.
I like that. And a score prediction, mate?
I think it's going to be, it's going to be tough. I'm going to say 2-0. RVP, he'll get 1, and I'll say Ashley Young will get the other.
Nice. Raju, as Joey says there, it's definitely, not a week to be fucking around. So what are you going for? Do you think Di Maria will start, and if so, will he have an impact? And I'd also like your score prediction.
Me personally, I think he should start just to build up his confidence and also get him used to the formation and how Van Gaal wants him to play, so he's ready for next season. I know it's a bit early, but it's still good to just get an idea of how he's going to do. Personally, I would start him, and I'm going for a 3-0. I reckon Van Persie will score, and I reckon Antonio Valencia, why not? Just give him a goal, even though he's been pretty bad recently.
A bounce back after that hairdryer treatment, I think we'd all like that. Yeah.
He's like Sean with the Carrick hat tricks.
Yeah. hopefully Valencia will prove me right on Saturday night.
I think we've had a few of those this season. I mean, Smalling was atrocious earlier this season. We all joked about him scoring, and then he's actually popped up with 4 or 5 goals. So, I'm not going to disagree.
Off the bench, didn't he? After half time.
I'm not going to disagree with your prediction at all there, Raju. I think I'll back that as well. I mean, Raman, what do you think?
Firstly, Di Maria starting? No, for me. That's a straight answer to that question. Predictions? I'm terrible at predicting. I'm the worst at it. Everything I say always seems to go wrong. So, do I have to give prediction?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a legal requirement.
Okay. I'll go for 2-1 United.
2-1 United. Goal scorers by any chance? Just so we can tweet you when you're wrong.
Yeah, I think RVP's got a very, very good chance of scoring after, especially scoring the other night. But in addition to that, I think
Tony V's gonna score. Go on, they want to see.
Tony V, it's Tony V's day. I mean, that's all we got time for tonight, guys. Thanks for joining us. Aidan, where can people find you tweeting? You're a regular now, but of course, we want to know where else we can find you.
Twitter and YouTube, Melvin7. Yeah, that's basically it. Like, literally, it'll be probably in the description. It'll be tweeted out by the United View as well. So yeah.
Yeah. You guys should check out Aidan's YouTube videos as well on FIFA as well. If you're a fan of FIFA 15 particularly, there's some good stuff on there. Joey, where can people find you tweeting?
It's at Joey Tabor.
Cheers for joining us tonight, mate, and especially thanks for the Darren Fletcher story. That was superb. Thanks very much. Raju, where can
definitely.
People can find me at RajuMCB on Twitter. I like speaking anything related to football, and yes, hopefully United get the job done this weekend and make our lives easier for the next couple of weeks.
Yep, hopefully Tony B makes it that a little bit easier to get a top 4 finish. And Raman, where can people find you? Thanks for coming on today.
You're most welcome. That's okay. You can find me on Twitter or Instagram and Periscope on at Roman7Paul. You'll probably find a few music-related tweets as I'm involved in music, but obviously Manchester United being my number one love, number one passion. A lot of those tweets will be football-related, but as I say, bit of a music stroke, 80% are probably football as well. So, yeah, at Roman7Paul.
I can relate to that. I mean, that's all we've got time for, guys. Thanks for joining us. But, you know, we'll have the review show on Sunday night when, of course, we'll be talking about United's obvious win against West Brom. We're not going to entertain any potential shock defeats or points. And it doesn't really matter at this point anyway because Liverpool are rubbish, aren't they? So, you know, it's going to be fine. So
Don't forget it.
Yeah, me and Joey will do it this time, yeah?
Oh, I've done it before. You got 2 new guys to do it now.
Should we all do it?
Yeah. We all chant "Come on, United," guys. So on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Come on, United!